The EMBA Global Asia Award for Academic Excellence is presented to a member of the graduating class who is awarded on the basis of outstanding scholarship. This year's awardee is Mr. Nicholas Holt. The EMBA Global Asia Award for Commitment to Excellence recognizes a member of the faculty or administration for their contribution to the class as voted by the students. This year's awardee is Ms. Carol Chan. The EMBA Global Asia Distinguished Service Award is presented to a graduating student who is selected by the members of his or her class as deserving special recognition for contribution to the spirit and achievement of the class. This year's awardee is Mr. Edhard Sylvester. And now for the EMBA Global Asia Representative Awards are presented to the academic, social and career representative in recognition of their outstanding service to the class and strong support of the EMBA Global Asia program. And this year's awardees are Mr. Edhard Sylvester, Mr. Michael Danish, Ms. Catherine Liu Vivian, Mr. Kevin Ding. Please come forward.
Thank you, Professor Yim, Ms. Blanco, and Mr. Longboy. I now invite Mr. Alex Lee to come forward to give a brief class farewell.
Hello, everyone. So, whereas Adar touched on some of the wonderful experiences we had together as a class, and my were they wonderful, I'd like to talk a little bit about the future instead. I think the fairest comment I can make here, and I hope the admin will agree, is this was not your average class. And I appreciate the laughter, I really do, but I really mean that in not the dry, sarcastic humor that you're used to me with, but actually with the greatest amount of admiration for the people in this class. And let me tell you why. You may remember that our class started rather curiously with a Russian fellow storming into the room. declaring that he needed to be on this program. And I'll just remind you of what he said. He had a piece of paper in his hand, and he said, "Leaders get other people to follow me," or something along the lines of that. It was just as bad as that. Now, whilst he felt that this declaration warranted him a place on this program, thankfully the committee didn't, so thank you, all of you. And it's basically because he was wrong. Now, whilst the most basic and, I would say, caveman definition of leadership is about following, forcing people to follow you, I would say that what we've learned in this course and over the last couple of years together is leadership is about inspiration. It's about inspiring others to do great things, to improve, to change ourselves, and to challenge all those outdated social norms that we know are wrong. This is a room that is filled with exactly those leaders. Whether it's Kevin leading troops on the ground and now at Morgan Stanley, or Eric, who handles a huge Chinese investment fund and sadly he cannot be with us today, or Jobert, the closet Chinese nationalist who actually spends most of his time designing hospitals to save Chinese lives, in fact. Or Nuhair, another individual who deserves special mention. He's primarily a brand ambassador for LVMH, but in his spare time, he also likes to provide solar energy to Bangladesh. We are all blessed to lead in different ways, and they are very special. One more mention, actually, Nicholas leading us to Escape Bar, which was the worst decision I think we've ever made. There is also something quite distinct and quite frankly wonderful about this group of people. It's also statistic defying. We will all have heard these sort of statistics. In G7 countries, only 22% of senior roles are held by women. In Japan, that number is 7%. In Hong Kong, board roles held by 10% of women. In this room, it is completely different. We have Carol, who is a law-busting vice president sitting atop a Japanese corporation. And to give you some context there, I was in Tokyo last week and one of my colleagues remarked that there was an assistant front desk manager at a hotel who was a woman, and he thought that was surprising. So that just shows you how far back sometimes it can go. Judith, who, until recently was Jack Ma's lieutenant in film. You've got Catherine, who again is not here with us today, but sort of climbing Everest and all sorts. I wouldn't be surprised if she's on Mars next week. And those are just to mention, honestly, but a few names. 1/3 of our class are actually outstanding women, and that is really one of the most amazing things about it. We've graduated from this prestigious program, and I think we deserve to celebrate. But in fact, our work begins today. Very few people have the knowledge, the access, and the confidence to bring out the positive change that we know needs to happen. For better or worse, that few certainly includes us. So whatever it is you plan to do, increasing access to medical care or education, promoting sustainability, pushing diversity, it's all down to you. Nobody else is going to do it for us. And honestly, I don't think I know a better group of people to do this. So I'll leave you with a quote from Margaret Mead, who I recently found out was a cultural anthropologist from the 1980s, who in fact earned her PhD from Columbia University. That's all courtesy of Wikipedia, by the way, I did not know that. She said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, concerned citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." Thank you.
I now invite Professor Chang, Dean of Faculty of Business and Economics at the University of Hong Kong, to come forward to introduce our guest of honor and keynote speaker.
Mr. Young, Dr. Cannon, Professor EMBA, Mr. Lamboy, colleagues from HKU, CBS, and LBS, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, before I start, I would like to congratulate all the graduates on getting the EMBA degree. Indeed, it is our honor to have your individual and collective contribution to build the fine reputation of this program. On this happy occasion, the honor is all ours to have an all-round business leader to address the high flyers in this theater. Mr. Morris John is an executive director of MTR Corporation and currently the president of MTR Academy. He joined the company since 1983. Throughout the years, he had led many senior roles within the organization, from graduate engineering advanced into operation and maintenance, people management, and later on, international business development. He now oversees the MTR Academy, an institution aims at raising and growing talent and knowledge for the railway and the related technology sectors in Hong Kong, extending into mainland China, the Asia region, and globally. Mr. Zhang is an active collaborator connected with the engineering and technology sector locally and internationally. With Hong Kong as the hub, he fosters knowledge creation and talent development. This leads to the bonding with MTR and being a key contributor to its financial growth. Today, we are pleased to have him sharing with us the route of how MTR migrates from a local railway operator to an international business. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Morris John to deliver the keynote speech.
Dr. Cannon, Professor Chang, Professor Yanka, Ms. Martin Franco, Dr. Longboy, fellow professors, EMBA Global Asia Class of 2017, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all the graduates. Honored to speak at this very special occasion, and I'm particularly grateful to speak in my alma mater. There are a lot of development in universities in the past 34 years since my graduation. One I must mention is that now people come to the campus with MTR, which is faster and at lower cost. Being an executive director of MTR, I have served my career 34 years with this organization. From metro operation, moving on to international business development, and now leading the MTR Academy, with a vision to create and retain talents for the industry. MTR is a metro operator which keeps Hong Kong moving. We carry over 5.5 million passengers every weekday. We are a blue chip stock in Hang Seng Index. Our stock price has increased 4 times since IPO. The program offers you an opportunity to learn across New York, London, and Hong Kong. So you know the financial performance of these cities very well. But today, I want to speak about only their metro operations. What makes people ride on metro? It is down to 3 simple words: efficiency, reliability, and comfort. Finding the formula is straightforward, but putting this formula to work is very expensive. The answer is to find a financially sustainable way to deliver our service. Like in many cities, governments like to see transport as a public good, but there are many things that fight for public money. Hence, relying solely on government subsidy is a dead end. Between Hong Kong, London, and New York, London's fare is 20% higher than Hong Kong, and New York is 50% higher in comparison of purchasing power parity. On the other hand, Hong Kong strives to keep our operating costs lower. The operating costs per revenue kilometer for New York and London are 60% and 10% higher than us, respectively. Another comparison is the commercial revenue over operating cost ratio. New York operates at a ratio of 0.8, and London operates at 1.1. Both operations require significant government subsidies. You may wonder what MTR operates at. MTR operates at a ratio of 2.3. Instead of asking government to provide subsidies to our operations, we give back profits to the government in the format of tax, license fees, dividends, and more importantly, land value capture. MTR was set up in 1975 as a standalone company with a mandate to operate under prudent commercial principles. That means from day one, we are determined to be financially sustainable without government subsidy. Plus, making a reasonable return to our shareholders has been a financial discipline from the outset. The need to create a financial result enabled MTR's IPO in 2000, in which 24% of the shares were offered to private investors. I'm an engineer. Engineer has a motto. If things is not broken, we still will break it up and fix it. MTR is a company operated by many engineers like me. So when things are still working good, we strive to find the next opportunity. In 2003, we started our journey to expand our business outside Hong Kong. It is a venture allowing us to secure future financial health and to export our talents. International business is a matter of cost and benefits. Putting it in an institutionalized approach. Today, I can tell you we operate in a number of locations outside Hong Kong, including the UK, Sweden, Australia, and mainland China. The operations network outside Hong Kong is 4 times bigger than that in the domestic market. But back then in 2003, the journey was not as smooth. We found ourselves missing the right people, nor the right culture. We took a critical step, converting ourselves from a local company to an international one. Strategists tell you that if you want to conquer a city, you conquer the people first. In business, if we want to change people outside, we change ourselves first. So, the first things we did at that time was to rebuild our corporate culture. Colleagues were encouraged to take up assignments outside of their comfort zone and outside of Hong Kong.